I should state unequivocally that these had to be games that were delivered. I mean, we said that.
Yes.
We said that in our message.
Yes.
So you can't get mistaken because I
Nope.
said that going, okay, we have to create a rule. They have to be games that have been delivered. Not necessarily delivered to us. They have to have been delivered. We have to play them. They have to be delivered. Right? They couldn't have been Kickstarters that fumbled.
Correct.
So we couldn't pick games because the game hasn't delivered yet.
Fair enough.
I played the game. The game's fun. But the point is, I'm saying is the fact that what I'm saying is this is Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and I am with
Dave from Rampant Wolf Games. And we're here to talk about the top 5 most disappointing Kickstarter games.
So these very specifically, we had 2 ground rules. One, as we just said, the game had to be delivered.
Correct.
And 2, it was not required that we have backed that game. So if we played the game or acquired the game via some other means like eBay or retail, we didn't have to personally back the game.
Correct.
But it had to have been a game that would not have existed without I can't really say that.
No, you can't.
No, it had to be a game that began in Kickstarter.
Fair enough.
Because we know that the CMON games,
Yes,
they would have come out regardless.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because those are machines of industry. Mm-hmm. I don't have that one on my list, but it's safe to say these are Kickstarter games that started Kickstarter. Eventually, they hit retailers.
Yeah. All right.
This is going to go well.
All right. Dave's on a winning streak. So, my number 5.
Okay.
Honestly, this one is because it's an overproduced game. It should be only $30.
I know.
And it shouldn't have been the price tag it was.
I'm going to go for a nap.
Grim Forest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are minis in that game you just never use. You know?
Man, if we had a list of top 5 overproduced Kickstarter games,
whoo!
we'd have like 30 and like, well, and then it would just be increments.
Oh, yeah.
First to second to third to fourth to fifth is like 199, 898. It's like there's
Yep.
no, this game clearly is overproduced. Like, nope. Throw a rock.
So that's my number 5, Grim Forest.
Really, just like, I'm not even going to go into details on this.
No. All right, I said you got minis in there that you never use. It's a very pretty game.
But you haven't even mentioned why, because you don't care for the mechanics.
It is such a simplistic game.
It's
It is beyond simple.
It's a simple game
for $70.
Yeah, it is. You actually play the mechanics. It is almost like Mission Red Planet.
No, it's worse.
No, I'd say it's very similar to Mission Red Planet in its basic mechanics, except Mission Red Planet's $40 and this game's $60. And Mission Red Planet sucks.
But Mission Red Planet has take that where this doesn't.
Oh no, there is take that. Some of the cards are very much take that. There is take that in that game. In fact, one of the complaints people have had with the game, because it feels like a family game, but it has take that mechanics, which is some people have actually objected to the take that mechanics in that game.
My problem with the game is it's touted as Grim Forest, and it even double M, so it's talking about Brothers Grimm. There's nothing grim about that game.
It's focusing on very specific things. The Grimm fairy tales pop up peripherally, but it's primarily the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I get you.
So that was my number 5.
Now my number 5 is Grim Slingers.
All right.
Which is the game I praised because they fixed it with their second Kickstarter. Northern Territory expansion was released primarily to fix the problems. Give you an idea, they are up to their 4th edition on the rules. So they're up to the 4th edition on the rules. So Northern Territory is the 4th edition printing, which means they have literally reprinted this game 3 times previous to fix the game. It's still not 100% in my opinion. I think that the rock, paper, scissors mechanic is not a very good mechanic in the competitive version, and it doesn't work at all in the co-op version. And the Northern Territory expansion was designed primarily for the co-op, and it's still there. But the original game, the original first Grimslingers, it's the original game with the original mechanics that were quickly errated with the second printing, and then the third printing. Boy, was that game not in a good shape when it got sent out in that state. Looks great, but I would not have enjoyed that game in its first edition printing. That's my number 5. Grimslingers.
All right. Number 4. I've mentioned this one in another list. Again, I've played it again since that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it still ends up on this list. Titan Dice. Yeah, I've played this game. I've played it.
You mentioned this
before. The first time I played it, I was like, "What the heck is this game trying to do?" Second time I played it, I handed the rule book to someone else, and they say the exact same thing. I don't get this game, and yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do with it. Maybe it was just they were trying to make a really light game, but you gotta have a game have substance, or else it's just.
Otherwise, it's just roll for it.
It's not even roll for it though. Actually, I guess it kind of is. Yeah, it's disappointing.
So is this game disappointing? It's disappointing in the fact that it just feels like someone puncturing a whoopee cushion and just letting the air deflate.
Yeah,
It's like I don't even get the fart. It just
it's disappointing because just like, oh, there should be a game here, but there's not.
Speaking of, my number 4 pick is Stuffed, which is a game there's nothing in that game. I gave it I gave it mixed praise.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed, like the fact that Fallout 76 has mixed reviews. Stuffed is mixed because it is a beautiful game.
Mm-hmm.
That is, roll for it, make all the cards more pretty than they already are, like animated characters and all this, make the dice unique, right? Then cut the amount of cards by down to a fifth. Yeah. So it's a fifth of the cards of a roll for it. Make them pretty, and not change anything else.
Yeah.
That's basically what stuff. People are going to say, oh, you can get cards that do other things. They're very minor. Mm-hmm. And as a result, because of that, and because that you completing the single solitary mission card that's played at first is the only winning, whoever gets that wins. Done.
Yeah.
Which means, theoretically, the moment you can claim, you have to claim at least 2 cards. You claim 2 cards, and then, so technically in 3 or 4 rounds, somebody could be lucky. Just like roll for it. If you put, let's say, everyone's playing for this 120-point card. One guy can just roll 6 dice. Now, it's not the same with Stuff. Stuff, there's a few things you have to do. They've added a couple mechanics, but at the end of the day, it's a smaller version of roll for it. So it's not a bad game, but it's just disappointing because I thought there'd be more. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be a die placing game. I thought it'd be something like some kind of card based Alien Frontiers or something, and I was just like, which unfortunately now, having seen the designer's history, I'm losing faith in that. Great game designer visually, just doesn't know how to build the mechanics.
Fair enough.
That's my number 4 pick.
Number 3 for me, this game died on two different things. It's manual and it's miniatures. Because if you're going to build miniatures based on something that people know, and not just a few people know, but I mean, you're talking pop culture.
I know what this is.
Have your minis be decent, but you better have a good manual, and that is The Walking Dead: No Sanctuary.
I called it. I was gonna say it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it. I'm gonna let him have his hair in the sun. It's like if you said make a guess, I said Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's a game where
I'm surprised this is actually this. I thought this would be higher.
No.
Then I know what your number 1 is.
Nope, you don't.
In that case, I'm not gonna. All right, I'm concerned.
Yeah. So no, this one, the manual killed it for me, and the miniatures. There's no detail. It's like you have a character who's supposed to be Morgan. The only reason you know it's Morgan is he's got a stick.
Stick.
He's got a stick. You only know it's Rick because he's wearing a cowboy hat, but it could be just a big Carl.
It could be just a big Carl.
You know?
Yeah. I had that problem with Subterra. The miniatures are okay, but they're like... Their pose is the only thing that's giving them away.
Yeah. So that was my number 3, The Walking Dead: No Sanctuary.
My number 3 pick... This is going to be an interesting one.
Okay.
I
know what your number 1 is.
I'm going for the jugular. Bears versus Babies.
Oh, yeah, I figured that.
Here's the thing about this company. They love putting out very funny-looking games because the guy who designed it does the oatmeal, and he's very intelligent, and he's very funny. I don't know if he's the guy making the games or he's just designing the art for someone else. Mm-hmm. If he's doing it, please fire that guy and get somebody else because the games they make are really bad. I mean, that's the thing. I backed Exploding Kittens. Mm-hmm. I backed Bears versus Babies. We play a couple games and you're like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. I'm like, of all of that for this?
Yep.
Like, it's a cheap game.
Yeah.
I mean, Exploding Kittens is like one of the most backed games, period.
Yeah.
Not for money earned, but by the number of backers.
Yeah.
At $20 a pop, it's like it had like 100, how many? 100,000 backers? Like just crazy.
So, yeah.
And I'll tell you, I played the game a couple times and it was like, well, I'm done with this. It's a game that if you are a guy who backs Kickstarter games and you get this game, it has no life. It's got no shelf space. It's got no lifespan because within a game, you're like, well, that was a novelty.
Yep.
But the problem with Bear vs. Babies is Bear vs. Babies doesn't have the novelty of just being, oh, God, Oatmeal made a game. It's now Oatmeal made a second game and it still sucks. And that's why I put Bears vs. Babies and push the Exploding Kittens off. So it's not in my top 5. Otherwise, they'd both be on there, but I thought that would just be going double down. So this actually is all games by the Oatmeal, technically. But I'm specifically saying Bears vs. Babies because it is a game. Exploding Kittens isn't much, but there's not much to it. Bears vs. Babies actually needs to be better because the mechanics are more complicated, but he still doesn't put enough in the game.
Yeah.
So Bears vs. Babies, I feel, is more disappointing than Exploding Kittens because Exploding Kittens is completely hollow. This game tried to be more, and it's actually worse as a result.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough babies, not enough options. It's got a stupid strategy. Once you figure out the fact that you can just go after the babies, you don't have to build a big monster. Have 2 limbs and let's go for it because you're going to beat. And then you don't have any, there's no goal to build the monsters because you only need like 2 limbs and that's it.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Exactly.
So that's my number 3 pick, Bears vs. Babies. And yeah, they have a new game that came out. I don't know when this is going online, but they have one that came out. It's on right now, and it's early March. It's on right now. Dodgeball.
No. It's Burrito.
No, it's Dodgeball.
Yeah, but that's what it is though. It's called Burrito. Is what it's called, and it's you got the burritos, and you're all standing around the table, and then if you play this card, you pick up the little foam burrito, and you can throw it at the other players.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. Yeah. And you're number 2.
Number 2. Very pretty game. Broken mechanics.
Who goes there?
There you go. Who goes there?
I thought this would be number 1, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what number 1 is.
So this game, if you make it so that a cooperative game, so that there's no way to win if you. It's not even that if you all screw up and if you all in this game decide to go outside to try and get resources, you can get locked out round after round after round after round and die. And it's like, well, what was the point? Now, you can't tell me that someone didn't, during playtesting, say, oh, that's broken. Because we did it on our first game!
I would say, perfectly honest, that there wasn't enough playtesting.
No.
I would say he playtested it. I would wager a guess if they did what they should have done. This is what I imagine would happen. They had a couple of their friends play the game. They played the game. Somebody said, this is a kind of a weird mechanic. And then somebody said, that's how it's supposed to be. And then he put his foot down and said, that's how the game's going to be. Which means he got the feedback and ignored it. And then somebody in that office is just like, okay. And then they said, put it in the manual. Say in the manual that if you want an easier game, play with these 2 characters because they make the game playable. So he creates a game that is really random. Is got a betrayal mechanic, which is not a betrayal mechanic. It's a mounting fear mechanic, which you can't do anything about. So there's nothing you can do about it. And because, like I said, in my video, I explained the fact that there's a fundamental flaw in that game that you cannot escape. You cannot homebrew it correctly. And that is, if everybody's a thing on board, you all collectively lose the game.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for that thematically.
No.
They try to explain it, but because they know that it's entirely possible. So if you infect another character, you have to try to not infect somebody else. It literally doesn't make any sense. But they have to include that lose mechanic, otherwise you wouldn't care. Because the players will all get infected and they all go out and do humanity and they win. And they had to make that a lose state, which makes no sense thematically. And then to make matters worse, a company comes out a year earlier, comes out with a game that's half the price, and that does that mechanic
way better.
It copies. It's a rip-off of 3 other games, but those 3 other games work.
Yeah. I'll even double down.
How can you tell this is going to show up on my list? By the way, let's just get it.
I'm going to double down on this one. Even say that recently, they've done something that has made me start to question this company.
Oh.
He called people out on their comments in a video.
Recently?
Yeah. Yep. For one of their most recent projects,
Not D6, is it?
Yeah, people made negative comments.
Really?
They called them out in a video on it and said that, like, that's not, like, brought the comments out and be like, that's not the way you comment on stuff and blah blah blah. And then, but this person actually said something really nice. It's just like, that's not how you engender yourself to your public. Like, to me, that was just like,
you backed that game.
I did.
You're regretting it? Because
person, yes.
I am not. Yeah. I will not back anything that company does. After Stuffed and Who Goes There, not a chance.
Yeah.
D6 looked pretty, looked real pretty, but then I kind of looked deeper into it, and I was like, you know what? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what ends up happening, but yeah, it's yeah.
There's a great because there's a game that they did before. Like,
Endangered Orphans.
Yeah, and I think there was a game before that as well.
No, Endangered Orphans was the first one.
Was that the one that Tom Bassel reviewed it and said, this is designed by a guy who played Talisman and figured, oh yeah, all games are like this?
I don't know. But yeah.
It was a pretty scathing review.
Yeah.
Like, he was basically saying, whoever designed this game does not have any experience designing board games. He should play more games so we can understand that we have moved past this.
Yeah.
It's like having a game with roll-to-move mechanics. It's like, you don't put that in a game, ever. If you do, it's like, dude, where have you been for the last 30 years? We've all moved past this.
Yeah. I still do some roll to moves in certain games, but at the same time, they kind of make sense in this setting. But
well, like I said, going back to like the game of No Escape, roll to move is part of the thing, but there's it's a point of the game.
Yeah. All right, so that was my number 2. What's your number 2? Same one.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I was just like, I was like, you know what? Let's just. I was gonna say, hey, I'll just say it together, and then I realized I wasn't gonna be 100% certain. But yeah. Who Goes There is
number 2. All right.
No. Okay. Yeah. So we both backed it.
Yep.
I got the Infected edition. You did as well.
This is the white one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Totally Infected is a wonderful, wonderful looking game. It is beautiful. The production design, it is almost the figurehead of a overproduced, crappy game. Mm-hmm. A game that's got amazing production quality and is just not well designed.
You know how you brought up the coin thing one time in one of our other things?
Yes.
That's what they called out also in the other video the other day too.
The fact that we didn't get our coins?
No, the fact that people are complaining about the coin thing.
About not getting coins?
And the fact that there's a spot for the coin in the new game.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that one going to have a coin?
Yeah.
Is it actually going to have a coin?
Yeah. But still, it's just like, dude, like...
You didn't deliver us the coin from the last game.
But
I paid. I know I paid for the coin for Stuffed. I paid for that coin in Stuffed, and I didn't get a coin.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, that's number 2. Let's move on to number 1. Let's just skip past it.
Just skip past it.
Yeah. All right.
How much time we have here?
All right.
Smash! This game barely kicked off Who Goes There. By the way, barely.
Okay.
Like it was. Yeah. Well, we've lost the audio on that, but we have the audio here.
Fair enough.
So suddenly the audio. We're all gonna scream now because we all lost my microphone. And my number 1 pick, Dark Souls, the board game.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Let's try to replicate the Dark Souls format. Hey, I have an idea. What's the one thing about Dark Souls everyone loves? How about the fact that you have to grind the game for 50 hours to do anything? Yes, that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it's the brutal difficulty, the dark theme, the gameplay mechanics. No, it's the fact that you have to grind the game for like 12 hours. That's what we got to recreate. So they made a board game that you've got to grind the same monsters for 4 hours. And so it's like, why would you do that? And what's better, though, is that they then went off and they made the card game. And the card game is exactly the same game where you have to grind. It's a better game because it's faster. So now the battles only take like 5-10 minutes. But you still got to do 10 or 12 of them. The card game is way more fun than the board game. But the card game still is 2 hours long. If the card game, it's a deck builder. If the deck builder Dark Souls is 2 hours to 2.5 hours long, do you know how long the miniature board game is?
Yeah.
You might as well play the video game.
Yep.
Have you played it?
Yep.
It is a mess, and the fans are not happy.
Yeah.
Because it is a beautiful looking game made by people who just like, boy, did you guys take away the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you played Dark Souls 4?
No. I've looked at it, and then I walked away.
It's a big game.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's weird, too, because the Dark Souls card game, like, it's a tiny box like this big.
Yeah.
And then the board game is just this.
Yeah.
I'm interested now.
My number one is a game I like. But it's disappointing because of what they did. So this game funded in 2013, was supposed to deliver in 2014. We got our core sets in 2014, and they said, yeah, all the other stuff that was like promised during the Kickstarter, it's going to take 4 more years to get. And that's Shadows of Brimstone. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 3 years. My bad. And that's why it's disappointing. Yes.
There's a pile of Shadows of Brimstone like right off camera.
Yeah, that one.
Which is weird. Like, I thought, like, is there something about Shadows of Brimstone he wants to tell us about? Apparently, yes.
Yeah, it ended up...
You love this game.
I love this game, but I hate Flying Frog because of this one. I will still back their stuff.
Yeah, I guess in definition. We said Kickstarter, disappointing Kickstarter, a game that delivered. We never said why it was disappointing. Yep. So I could have had a Kickstarter game that was good.
Yep. But that's why.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, I could have put Subterra on there because of some of the things they did after the campaign, but I wasn't even close to some of the problems. I was focusing mostly on the game itself. But yeah, you got me there.
Yeah. Now, there's technically another game I have that would have been on this list, but it hasn't delivered yet. At least I don't have my copy. Tom's got his copy.
Madara.
Yes.
Did you see the review?
I did.
Seems like it.
He does.
I didn't realize that was anime.
So Shadows of Brimstone, just because they took so long. 4 years.
You got it all though, eh?
Yep. Yeah, and
they finally came through.
They did. But the reason they said that, because basically what ended up happening was they kept throwing more and more stretch goals into it. And there were so
many, you knew that you wouldn't be able to deliver those.
Well, yeah, and by the time they finished, they were just like, yeah, we overpromised. So the next ones, they were reserved on their stretch goals. Because the thing was, they threw so many minis at the first one. And it was just like, holy crap. And this isn't just like minis that come, these are sprued minis. So you have to build the miniatures.
Oh, that's the reason why I got out of 40K.
Yeah. So, but yes, that's my number one.
Wow.
Shadows of Brimstone.
It's
What's your number one? Or did you already say
Dark Souls?
Yeah, Dark Souls. Yeah.
He was so obsessed and upset at your list. Yep. You're like, you forgot. I was like, oh wait, no,
I did.
Was mine not? Should I?
Yeah. All right.
Dark Souls not enough for you.
So, number 5 was Grim Forest. Number 4, Titan Dice. Number 3, Walking Dead: No Sanctuary. Number 2, Who Goes There? And number 1, Shadows of Brimstone, just because it took so long.
And I have number 5, Grimslingers. Number 4, Stuffed. Number 3, Bears vs. Babies, which really represents everything that the oatmeal does. And number 2, Who Goes There? And number 1 is Dark Souls, the board game.
I've been Dave.
I have been Chris.
And remember, the rules are just a suggestion. Play the game how you want to play it.
Okay, and to all the Kickstarter designers out there, the rules are not a suggestion. The rules are mandatory. You guys, we can homebrew your system. But for you, the rules are not. I'm going to tell you, the rules are not a suggestion. You actually have to design a good game. For the love of God, folks. You have to design a good rule system. It's not up to us to homebrew your crappy game. So the rules are not a suggestion. Please, for the love of God. It's not.